Hi everyone, welcome to a new devlog. In this episode, we'll see how I use the advanced locomotion system and the integration of a basic inventory, equipment, and melee combat system. So let's get started. Since the beginning, I feel like I have been bouncing around both defining the style of the game and defining a workflow to work more efficiently. And although I'm still evaluating different options, I think this process is taking me in the right direction. A few weeks ago, I downloaded ALS again to see how it was done. Now that I feel more comfortable with blueprints and understand better how they communicate with each other. I like the AAA feeling I had when moving the character, so I decided to see how I could use it in my game. Last week, I published a tutorial on how to integrate ALS with Metahumans. I'll leave the link in the description in case you are interested. I'm still debating whether to use Metahumans or custom characters for my game. Both workflows have their pros and cons, so meanwhile I decide, I will use the default character ALS to develop the rest of the systems. One of my first goals was to integrate melee combat, but for that I needed weapons. So first of all, I integrated a very basic inventory system. If you follow my devlogs, you might be wondering why I'm redoing all these systems that I had already developed. Well, the initial prototype had a lot of problems, so I thought it was a good moment to rewrite and improve the systems, taking into consideration all the mistakes made from the first version. Here you can see how it works. The UI design is just for functionality. As you can see, it's quite ugly. I'll be working on all the aesthetics once the prototype is working properly. On the left, we have the inventory, and on the right, the equipment. This system already works with the controller, another challenge to overcome when designing these systems. With the shoulder buttons, we can move from the inventory to the equipment and vice versa. When we click on an item, we can equip it and it goes to the equipment. Once in the equipment, we can unequip it and the items goes back to the inventory. And from there, we can get rid of it by dropping it. I have developed the inventory following a series of tutorials from Titanic Games. I have created a list with all of them to make it easier to follow. I'll leave the link in the description in case you are interested. So for now, we are going to equip the axe and the shield so we can see the melee system. The next challenge was to integrate ALS with different systems, in this case the melee combat. For this, we have to use a different overlay state, one of the main pillars of the system. The ALS animation system is quite complex, but as many people are using it, there are many tutorials explaining how to customize it. If you are on the same journey as me, I strongly recommend you to take a look at Juan Marcelo's tutorial. I'll leave the link in the description. He does a deep dive explaining how the whole ALS works and how to add new states. So a few hours later, I had the first integrated state. One of the first steps was to add the animations to equip and unequip the weapons when changing the state. ALS has very useful functions, in this case the set overlay state that triggers when the overlay state changes. The next step was to add a basic attack when we press the attack button. I developed all these features by already adding support for the controller. It takes a little bit longer at the beginning, but this way I don't have a huge task at the end when all the systems are done. The next step was to change the basic attack for a combo system. Here you can see how the attacks are chained when you keep pressing the attack button. The system behind the combo is relatively simple. I'll explain the overview so you can apply the same logic to your game. Each animation has a notify during the attack recovery. The notify simply calls a function that evaluates if another attack was clicked to execute the combo. In parallel, we have the attack event that is executed when we press the attack button. It checks if it's the first time we attack or not. If we already attacked, we register the attack with the save attack variable. And if it's the first time we attack, the isAttacking variable is true, and we start the first animation. The function attack combo is called by the notify. If we press click during the animation, it evaluates which is the next animation of the combo to execute. And if not, it resets the attack. In the case that we press the attack while in the last animation of the combo, we also reset the attack since there are no more animations to execute. And in general terms, this is the main logic of the system. If you have any questions or suggestions, please don't hesitate to leave your comments below. And that was all the progress so far. As always, thank you very much for watching and have a great week.